It's time to enter the world of real estate in Oahu with Hawaii's only true real estate radio show, the Team Lally Real Estate Show. Grab a pen and get ready to take notes. For the next full hour, Hawaii's premier real estate leader, Adrienne Lally, and Attilio Leonardi will bring you the latest in real estate news and real-world strategies on how they can guarantee to sell your home at a price and deadline you agree to, or they'll buy it. Now, here are your hosts, Adrienne and Attilio.
Welcome to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or we'll buy it. If you have any questions, just give us a call at 799-9596 or check us out online at teamlally.com.
Hey everybody, this is Attilio, and this is the part of the show where we hopefully bring you guys some value and share something with you that you can put into practice in your life right now. So I have a message, I guess, for the attorneys that are in family law. Family law, unfortunately, handles a lot of things that are, I guess they're all helpful depending on what side of the court situation that you're on, whether you're plaintiff or defendant. I guess no matter what, somebody's being helped on one side of that deal. Hopefully it's on both. But, family law, I guess they have to do with like, adoptions, actually, and a whole bunch of other things in that category. But specifically, I want to talk about divorce. So we are going to be teaching a class in a month or two, and we're doing it on Facebook Live. We'll have it promoted, and hopefully those of you out there in the family law business can tune into it either live at that time or later on. And what we're going to be doing is just talking about a lot of the misconceptions that we have when we're going through divorce regarding what you need to know about the real estate aspect of getting a divorce, because there's a lot of misconceptions.
Well, in fact, our guest next week is going to be an attorney from Farrell and Associates.
Yes. So he'll be sharing with us what he knows about from the attorney's perspective. But I think the challenge we run into is the attorneys wearing the real estate hat. And we also run into challenges where realtors are trying to wear an attorney hat. And when we're not staying within our lane, and this is true of anything, we always know that the best advice is if you're not an expert on something and someone asks you a question about it, my opinion, the best response is I don't know. Let me find out more information or get you in front of the appropriate professional that has that expertise. And what we do know is that there's a lot of moving parts with divorce and real estate, and then throw in another different component, which is COVID-19 into that and how it's affecting divorce and real estate. So that's what we'll be talking about on the next show. But to give you guys a heads up on the if you're in family law and handle divorces, and if they're, a lot of times the main asset that's to be debated on or decided on is going to be the home, the primary home. And some people have rental properties and some people have other properties, but that's what is coming to the table. And a lot of times it's the biggest asset, or where the most amount of money or value is as far as the inventory of marital assets. So common mistakes that we see happening, and I'm not saying that the family lawyers are making the mistake, because you don't know what you don't know, and that's why we're going to have this class to educate you on that, is, for example, maybe telling people if they're upside down in a property that they should just hold on to it post-decree, when in fact you can, because they're thinking that they're going to be coming to the table with a deficient amount, when in fact if you owe, and that's going to be another topic that we're going to be talking about, is if you start missing mortgage payments and or if you're upside down in your property, because we do know We do know that foreclosures, bankruptcies, unfortunately, people not being able to stay current with their mortgage payments is going to be coming down the pipe because we are in a temporary situation where people are receiving PPE money, CARES Act money, unemployment, but that is not sustainable and long term. So eventually that money is going to run out, or people are going to be going through their savings and they're going to have to make a decision what to do with that property. So that'll be on another education series that we'll be starting to get ahead of the curve in what can you do if you're facing foreclosure or falling behind on mortgage payments. So back to the divorce situation. And as we bring on our guests, we're obviously going to switch to different topics, but we'll circle back around to that after we're done with our call-in guests and maybe give you a little bit more, talk about that class we're going to be teaching in the near future. But, if you're upside down in the property and you're going through a divorce, maybe the best advice is to sell the property, and they're telling you to keep the property because the attorneys don't know that you can do a short sale. And Adrian, what is a short sale and what's the outcome of that?
So it's basically that you're selling the property for less than what is owed, and you need to have a legitimate hardship, and divorce does qualify as that hardship for, the bank allowing you to sell for less than what the mortgage balance is.
Yeah, and then what happens at the end when they're all done and said and done with the sale?
Well,
they owe money. What is it? What is the outcome?
I think it depends on who the bank is and who the investor is. We always strive to have it forgiven. Now, there's been a couple of situations where that hasn't been the case, and they've got to sign like a promissory note.
What is the outcome of a successful short sale? I guess I got to be more specific.
Yes, that the debt or the difference is forgiven by the bank.
Yeah. So being upside down on the property and maybe getting advice from your family law attorney to keep the property. There's other options, and it's not that they're not good attorneys. As good as we are in real estate, I'm sure your divorce attorney or family law attorney is as good as the divorce process. The challenge we run into, and it's the same thing with us as licensed realtors, people start asking us for financial advice, tax advice, divorce advice, relationship advice, all these other different advices. And what you got to be careful of is to be the source of the source in things that are not within your lane or expertise. Even within real estate, even if you're a realtor out there, that does not mean that you're qualified to do a short sale. Why, Adrian?
Well, there's just a lot of different moving parts with the short sale that are completely different or that you may not be aware of that you need to advise your client on.
Yeah.
So, it's like we use the analogy doing a short sale is like running a marathon, and then doing a traditional residential sale, it's more like a 5K.
Well, and everybody's a realtor, and so you wouldn't go to a podiatrist to ask about brain surgery. And if you don't know what a podiatrist's specialty is, it's in the foot, ankle, I think. And you're not going to go to your brain surgeon to talk about what's going on with your foot, vice versa. So make sure you get the appropriate expert. We've completed, somewhere between 350 to 400 short sales. If you were to, my opinion, if you were to survey all the realtors that have a license right now in the entire state of Hawaii, I would be surprised. I don't doubt there could be somebody out there, but I don't know if there's anybody, even a close second, that's done that many. And I'm not talking from like the first time that short sales happened or the second time. I'm talking about the most recent correction. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm not talking about somebody that's been practicing for 50 years and has maybe done 50 of these. I'm talking about us doing 350 plus of these in the 06, 07, 08 time period, where that is the most recent information on how those are conducted.
And we are currently still working as people come in, depending on circumstances. And, we've consistently been helping clients even, as the market has increased.
Yeah. So speaking of experts in their field, we have an expert from the Big Island of Hawaii. We got Dan on the line. Dan, are you there?
Hi, guys. How are you?
Always great.
Hi, Dan.
And, we called you, you were listening a little bit, but, what's been your Here's my question to you, Dan. With the way the economy has been with this COVID-19, especially on the outer islands, we have a lot of people that work in the tourism industry, in the visitor industry. Do you think there's going to be a possibility that there's going to be some people that are not going to be able to maintain their mortgage payments long range?
Yeah, I do. And as we all, I think we covered this a couple of weeks ago, but
Yeah.
probably worth repeating. And that is when you look at the economic data, and everyone likes to talk about if it's a V-shaped recovery or a K-shaped recovery.
Yeah.
I mean, Gary Keller believes that it's a K-shaped recovery, meaning that the people in the upper echelon, the people in the upper income brackets, they have been not affected by this really at all. Not much of their life has changed. Their buying power, their income has not changed, and they're still spending. So that's the one arm of the K, right? The arm that's going up on the K, and the arm that's going down on the K are the poorer people who have been probably disproportionately affected in a much grearer way, because they're the ones that are hotel workers, and they're the ones that are bus drivers and so forth, and they've really been affected. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, there's a great possibility that they're late on their mortgage payments, and when the moratorium on evictions and things like that lift, there could be a real boomerang effect.
Yeah. So we were just talking about it. Is that we have the experience in it. We actually have a couple of short sales going on right now, and so we are ramping up, making sure that we've got all our paperwork updated, make sure that we are prepared and ready to go for, in our opinion, our prediction of a wave of those coming into place in the next couple of months. I'm thinking 2021 is when we're going to start seeing those, because you can go quite a bit before the bank starts bringing the hammer down, but if you don't have any savings and you can't recover. And Dan, and just so you know too, when we were doing these in 06, 07, 08, unfortunately, the largest number per county or areas where they were happening was Kona. So,
oh, really?
Yeah,
interesting.
In the entire state of Hawaii was in the Kona district, and but that was an over encompassing as far as people being upside down and economic situations. But I think it's going to happen more so in areas where we have a high amount of people that work in the visitor industry, because correct me if I'm wrong, it's interesting, but what do you think people's opinions are in general about visiting Hawaii for fun or for business? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think people are just itching to get out.
Yeah.
I mean, whether you watch the debates or not, or you follow the political, you always see reporters on the street, going out and getting the pulse of the American people and what they think about the economy. And there's only two topics that is on everybody's mind. Every single reporter, whether whether they're a conservative reporter or a liberal reporter, but the people they talk to, everybody says the same thing, which is COVID in the economy. COVID in the economy.
Yeah.
And when people talk about COVID, they are so over it. It's just oozing from their pores and how over it they are. And in fact, I don't know where I heard this or saw the study. It may have been a flash on the screen this week, but on the topic of COVID, the question was posed to the American people: would you assume a certain level of risk with COVID if you could get life back to normal quicker?
Mm-hmm.
And almost unanimously, everybody said yes. We want to go back to life as normal as quickly as possible, and we will assume the risk, which just tells you that people are just done with this and they want to get back to some type of normal life. Now, you combine that with what your question was what is their thoughts about coming to Hawaii, living, vacationing, staying, working in Hawaii? And the answer is, I think they kind of go hand in hand, because when they say they want their lives back, that means they want their lives back in all the areas I just discussed. They want to be able to freely travel. They want to be able to work remotely. They want to be able to take a vacation. Yeah. They want to be able to buy a second home. That's what they want to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the primary reasons why we haven't seen a dip in the high-end market, meaning $1 million and over. We haven't seen a dip in the high-end market because the people with means and wealth are still moving forward with their life, where the people who don't have means and wealth can't move forward with their life.
Yeah. So what else? Anything else you wanted to chat about up there on the Big Island? What's the latest?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, there was an article this week in West Hawaii Today that Mayor Harry Kim is basically going to talk with the governor this week and let him know that the Big Island is not ready to accept tourists on October 15th.
Yeah.
And he's going to ask the governor to delay this yet again.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's the only one. I think that Victorino on Maui may be in the same boat. I don't know where Caldwell stands, but, I never thought that they would open up the state prior to the election. And now I think there's some question about whether or not they even open up the state by December 1st.
Well, it's it's such a controversial topic that it's unfortunately that we got to involve politics in the decision of our politicians.
Right? I mean, you just scratch your heads and say, guys, come on. I mean, you had, 7-8 months to figure this out, and everyone else has. Everyone else has figured out.
Yeah.
And the thing that people talk about, which kind of really aggravates me, is that people talk about this as a binary choice, meaning it's either a choice to have an economy or it's a choice to have health and safety.
Yes.
And it's not a binary choice. It's not one or the other.
Yeah.
You can do both. And everybody in the mainland has figured out how to go about their lives and live with COVID. So why can't that happen here?
So we're on the line with the mayor of the Big Island, Dan, and he's
the future mayor.
Future mayor, or let's pretend all three of us, Mayor Adrian, Mayor Attilio, and Mayor Dan, if we were in political positions right now to help along these decision-making processes, we're constituents, we're a voice, we have a radio show, so we got a voice on a radio show. If Mayor Kim, Mayor Caldwell, and Governor Ige were all listening in right now, what would all three of us want to tell them? What would you want to tell them, Dan, and Mayor Kim too?
Well, I mean, real simply, you've got a boatload of money from the CARES Act that still needs to be spent by a deadline. I can't figure out for the life of me why you haven't been able to surround yourself with talented people that can get some testing in place at the very least.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a framework of how to bring people in here safely. I guess the question then really falls to execution. Like, why can't you execute? Can you at least give the people of this state a detailed explanation of why you can't execute? You've had the framework that you've talked about for 4 months.
Yeah.
But you can't actually put it in place. Why is that?
Yeah, and plus you've got a whole bunch of guinea pigs, all the other cities, all the other governors, mayors, all the other states, other whole countries that are putting things into place.
Even the ninth island, Las Vegas.
Yeah.
They're open with, certain precautions.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that would, and then, their visitors, it's more like in larger groups. At least here in Hawaii, a lot of the activities are outside.
Yeah. So
if we've got 22 sweaty men on a football field lining on top of each other, and we're able to play college football and NFL football, and do so with relatively little incident, I'm just baffled by why we can't give somebody a COVID test and then let them on the island.
Yeah. And I think we need to do that because it's like eventually we're going to have to take action. We're kind of in this conservative approach, wait and see. We're going to have to move forward. I mean, people, I always say people's lives rotate on like a 30-day basis, right? All our bills are due in a 30-day window. And how long can you go without income, without economic viability? I mean, I guess it's like you said, if you're so healthy but you can't afford food for your family, aren't you jeopardizing your health in that way? Because and then
well,
just all the stress.
Well, and that's why people are leaving.
Yeah.
They're leaving our state.
Well, give us a call. We'll be happy to go through a listing consultation for your COVID-19 listing consultation exit strategy from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are still coming here. I have a lot of, I've got relatives that work in essential businesses, and we feel so blessed that they do. I feel blessed that we are. Anything, what's the activity sales-wise on the Big Island? Below $1 million, above $1 million. What's happening over there?
Well, I don't, we talked a little bit about the numbers from August, and obviously today's the last day of September, and we're going to, I would say by this time when we talk next week, we'll have obviously the September numbers, but the truth is what we talked about in August was that the numbers weren't that very far off when we talk about Kona.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we were 5, the number 5, sales short from the same time last year. So the sales have been in brisk, but when we talk about real estate, as we talked about last week, everything is local, right? And so Kona's only 5 sales off, but you go down the road 40 minutes to the north, you hit the resorts, and it's 16% off from 2019. So, and so what do we run into? We run into the resorts where everything is second home, and because everything's second home, you would expect that market to be off. But when you're talking about Kona, and we're only 5 sales off, that basically tells you that the people in Kona are moving around, and those sales are all primary residents.
Mm-hmm. So the market's pretty strong, is what you're seeing.
The market is pretty strong. And even, listen, there's a bunch of people that are waiting to jump back into the second home market. And some of them have gone ahead and done that and bought property sight unseen in the resorts. But I anticipate that the resorts will pick up greatly once they get there. I mean, you can walk through my office and have a conversation with an agent and say, so tell me how your buyer prospects are. And they'll say to you, well, I've got 8, I've got 7, I got 4, I got 10 on drip campaigns. And then the following sentence follows. And they're just waiting for when they can get over here. That's the sentence that follows, right? They're all looking at property on a daily basis on their email, and you get and they're just waiting to get over here part. And so again, if the island gets open, I think you'll see the second home market then take off.
Well, there we go. So we're waiting for the state to open, and then we shall see. We shall see the surge. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Dan, for the Big Island update, and we'll talk with you next week. All right. So
sounds good, guys. Thanks,
you. Dan. So that was Dan Polomino. He's the team leader over there at the Keller Williams, a Big Island division.
All right. Next up, we got Kenji from Pillar to Post. Hey, Kenji, are you there?
Hello?
Hi, Kenji. What you got for us this week?
All right. I just did a house that was recently remodeled because it's been on the market for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And the construction that they actually did was pretty bad.
Oh.
So I'm here to talk about just in general of constructions and contractors that people hire to do these jobs and to make sure that they do them properly. The house I did had literally I could move the wall 2 inches inward, and it's a single framed wall.
Oh, wow.
That is not going to pass anything at all.
Was that like a disposable house? Like you can use it only temporarily, then you throw them away and you get another one first of the year?
Yeah. It kind of at the end of the day, it kind of is like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just be diligent on who these people hire.
Yeah.
Because they put a lot of money into making this house look really nice and elegant. And then it just went to waste because of the amount of work that needed to be done for the correction.
Yeah.
So, I'm just on the home inspector side is like, be careful of who you guys hire, because I wouldn't want to see you guys put $50,000 into a home only for the buyers to ask for a $50,000 credit debt. That makes no sense at all.
Yeah, I think the big problem is people skip, right? They go with the non-permitted people.
Kenji, who do you recommend, or how do you recommend that our listeners find the the proper professionals to do the work.
Or what questions should they be
Yeah.
asking?
Ask them for their history, for their portfolio,
Yeah.
what kind of work that they've done. Not just be like, hey, here's the cheapest quote that I'm going to get you, and you'll run with the cheapest quote, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you pay for what you get. So
Yeah.
the people that cost more, they're going to do a lot better work. They're going to put in more quality time, and they're going to have more skilled people in there. And if you have the lower end of the work, they're going to cut corners all over the place. And for this house that I did, they cut corners in every single aspect of the
Yeah.
remodel. So
Yeah,
it's
and
like,
then
all right.
do you think those people use the licensed contractor, or you don't know? You're not sure?
I'm not sure. I wasn't
Yeah.
there. Most likely not, but they had to have it in their SRPDs.
Or maybe it
so
was,
I would like to say yes.
Maybe the general contractor they used was Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, even the counter that they put installed was, they joined the countertops and it's like 1 inch off.
Oh,
I would
That
say
is not even a smooth transition.
that's pretty good though for Stevie Wonder.
I
if
would
you can
say
get that
to
one
even
within
take
one.
it a step further and ask for references
Yeah.
and call the references
Well,
and ask, hey,
here-
how
here's-
did the job turn out?
Here's the advice for you people.
Exactly.
Just like in anything, not going to get brain surgery just because the doctor says, oh, this is the brain surgeon. I get a second opinion. But like Adrian said, ask them for the name and phone number and addresses of 3 homeowners that they have recently done work for and call them. And then you can go online, just search for reviews. People in today's day and age, people are very vocal when you don't do good work, and they will put stuff out there on Google reviews. They'll put stuff there on Yelp reviews. So go and cross check them against that. It's like checking references through reviews.
So do your due diligence. You can
Yeah.
also check and make sure that they actually are licensed.
Yeah.
And how they're in good standing or not so good standing.
Yeah, but if the person leaving the review, if their screen name is Cosmic Bunny, you can throw that one out. Because Cosmic Bunny, they came from outer space. They're not really familiar with their customs. They're a bunny. They can't really speak English too well. So do your due diligence is what Kenji's telling you, because you're seeing it in the home inspection, and then like you said, it's causing all kind of issues in the sale.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge issues, because now it's like, all right, they're not going to budge on the credit or anything to ask for, because they feel like we just put $50,000 into our home, and you want me to give it to you for free? It's like, no, they want to capitalize on it, but you pay for what you get. So don't skimp on the cheap stuff.
Don't skimp.
Or the cheap people.
Yeah.
Make sure they do their research. I
Yeah.
mean, it went to a fact point where the dishwasher wasn't even connected.
Oh,
What?
wow.
I ran it, and the entire back wall was just soaked.
That's
Outside,
terrible.
inside.
I tell you, that's why we don't want Stevie Wonder. Stick to the music, writing songs. Stop being a general contractor on Oahu.
Well, Kenji, I'm glad that you brought this up, because we just recently had a homeowner who the house, had been lived in for about 6 years with the tenant in place, and the tenant, they didn't necessarily keep up with all of the normal things that homeowners do. So there was a lot of work that needed to be done to the home to get it market ready. So as his listing team, we helped to
Project manage.
project manage that whole entire process to make sure that we had the proper professionals and doing and double checking the work, and it came out beautifully.
Yeah.
And $21,000 above the list price.
Multiple offers.
16 offers.
16 offers. We had multiple offer situation, a lot of things to, and even with all of that work, there were still things that needed to be worked out in the home.
Yep.
So just imagine if we hadn't done that. And so, like you said, you get what you pay for.
Well, and then the other thing is that, you can hire a great real estate team to help you with that. Don't, just try and maneuver through it on your own.
I would even tell you, if you're thinking about remodeling your home, call us.
Yeah. Give us
You're
a
thinking
call.
about building a brand new home, call us. Mm-hmm. If you're wanting to know what the meaning of life is, call Kenji.
Yeah, how to live comfortably, how to live properly inside of your home with minimum maintenance.
Yes. He will give you the Mr. Miyagi advice for home living. And all right. Well, thank you so much, Kenji.
Thanks, Kenji.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right.
All right. So that was Kenji Vendetta
Yeah.
from Pillar to Post. You can give him a call, for all of your home inspection needs at 492-1675. Again, that's 492-1675.
Oh, wait, and then we had, we didn't have, I thought we had a number for Dan, but that's just going to be Keller Williams, Big Island.
Yes.
Just Google it.
Dan Polomino. That was our previous person that had called in from Big Island, Keller Williams.
If you're an agent out there, somebody looking to sell or buy, that would be our person to recommend. You give us a call, we'll forward you and get you in the right direction. And next up, we were going to take a break, but his information is so exciting that we're gonna skip the break. Mm-hmm. We're gonna bring him on board, and then we might take a little teeny weeny break after we're done talking with Bryon. But we may go so deep into that conversation that we may run out of time.
We'll see.
We'll play it by ear. See. But next up, we got Bryon Tucker, and who is Bryon Tucker? Who is Bryon Tucker? Adrian.
So I've known Bryon for I want to say like 12 years, a long time. Uh-huh. He used to live here for quite some time and did an excellent job with mortgages. Yeah. And he relocated to Austin, Texas. And I think he's still in the mortgage industry, but his main focus these days has been on the research and development tax credits.
Yes.
And how he can help business owners.
Yeah.
So we're very excited to bring him on and to share about this tax strategy.
And Bryon Tucker is with American Incentive Advisors. He's a business incentives consultant. Mm-hmm. Business incentive consultant, and he's going to help you with. It's what Millie Nelson and Wesley Snipes have major issues with: taxes. So. Bryon,
I don't even think Bryon could help them because they just didn't pay taxes. So you have to pay taxes in order to take advantage of this strategy.
Yes. Right? Well, he can't help them, but he can help us.
We
pay our taxes.
And he did help us.
If you Willie Nelson, Wesley Snipes, you're listening to our show, I'm sorry, sirs, but he can't help you. Hey, Bryon, are you there?
I am there. I'm just
he's listening to your
as
intro.
Always by your radio show. It's actually 14 years we've known each other, 2006.
Wow. Time.
14. Where does time go?
Just I wish time would go by faster now. If we can get past 2020, that would be great.
Yes, I agree. We're almost there.
Almost there?
I see
Last time I did the radio show was live. I was actually there. That was
in studio?
April 2019.
Wow. So here we are. You're
He's a repeat. He is a trained professional.
Yeah.
You're a call-in guest, keeping yourself COVID-19 safe. Mm-hmm. And what are these? What is this R&D tax incentive credit thing? What is that? And then we're also going to be sharing our own personal experience.
Yes,
because we got testimonials on that. But
we are believers in this.
Well,
this is great.
Yeah. So Bryon, tell us what is this? How can you help us save on our taxes if we're business owners?
Well, that's what's so exciting about what I do is that the fact that it's been around since 1981 and pretty much nobody knows about it. In fact, about 90% of the businesses out there that qualify for it aren't taking advantage of it. But it's been around since 1981. It was called the Economic Recovery Tax Act. It was renewed about 15 times. In 2015, it became the PATH Act. But they're tax credits that you replace the taxes that you paid over the past 3 years and going forward, and you get those taxes back as a refund.
I remember when this tax act came out. I was 7th grade up at Kamehameha schools, and I was between classes, and I was looking at the airplanes landing at the airport, and I was just thinking to myself, man, I hope when I own my own business that they have this tax credit that's going to help me when I'm in the future and owning this business. I was thinking about that, 7th grade, up at Kamehameha schools, looking out over the Honolulu in 1981.
You had accounting classes in your 7th grade? That's Kamehameha schools.
We had, I'll tell you, here's like a dating. This is the kind of computers we had 7th, 8th grade. It was actually one tape recorder hooked up to a Commodore. The hard drive was actually a cassette tape. The person teaching the class was Fred Flintstone.
I believe that.
Yeah. Anyway, so these 1981, we had this incentive, this tax credit incentive. What was the motivation of these lawmakers to create this law? What was it?
Well, my opinion is that we got lazy during the 80s. Life was good, and so we stopped working hard. We stopped making things better, and so Asia, Japan, and other countries started manufacturing more stuff than we did. They started moving forward. So they created this tax credit to incentivize businesses to create, manufacture, improve, experiment, stuff like that. So it was designed to help businesses here, to keep businesses here and help them thrive and grow.
Well, it was a technology incentive, because just here's a visual for you. Like me, I couldn't afford like a Sony Walkman, so I actually I tied one piece of rope around one cassette player, big old honking cassette player, and that's what I walked around with headphones. And then Sony comes up with the Walkman. There's the difference in technology.
Wow, that must have been kind of laborsome.
Yeah.
So,
bring that around.
So, Bryon, this is to encourage companies to innovate.
Yeah.
And to continue to test different technologies and methods in their business, right? That was the intent.
The thing is, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff packed under this umbrella, and it's expanded since it became the PAP Act. So there's a lot of things. I mean, if you are improving, manufacturing, creating, innovating, any of those things like that, you make anything, you qualify. And it doesn't matter what step in the process that you made something. If you had a hand in it, you likely qualify. Yeah. So, I mean, one of the reasons I'm obviously on the show is we've helped lots of real estate companies. We've helped over 40 Keller Williams teams. I've helped some EXP teams, as well as other independent brokerages. But, anything from home builders, the trades, plumbing, HVAC, contractors, electricians, all kinds of different stuff.
The dentists.
So
dentists, you guys out there listening?
Dentists.
Yeah.
Dentists are a big one. Dentists, usually do pretty well. I've talked to doctors, and some of them wish they were dentists because they didn't have all the red tape that the doctors do, and they do pretty well. But they create new mouths. They're manufacturing mouths, whether it's veneers, implants, crowns, filling.
Working with material science, all the different materials.
So plastic surgeons would clearly be in this category as well.
Yes, actually, I recently helped a plastic surgeon here in Austin get back $125,000 for 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah. I think what you're trying to gain some clarity on with the people is that you don't have to be like that professor from Back to the Future, like working on a DeLorean with a flux capacitor and an orbiter jumper arm. You can
messy white hair.
Exactly, crazy white hair, and the terrorists coming after you to get their payment for their plutonium. But you can actually just be all those businesses. So, so plumbers, general contractors, dentists, plastic surgeons, realtors, electricians, plumbers. What other? I mean, any other categories we haven't mentioned?
People often ask me, "What niche are you looking for, Bryon?"
Yeah.
And I say this: look. Well, first of all, it doesn't cost anything to see if you qualify.
Yes.
But if you want to narrow it down, here's narrowing it down. If you have employees and you pay taxes, chances are they qualify. So why not at least take a look at it?
Yes.
Actually, there's a long list of different companies that we've helped, and there's reasons why, and I don't want to get into the weeds with that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, and just that's a good segue into the process, we fill out some paperwork. Doesn't take very long for the most part. Sometimes it takes a little longer with realtors because they experiment with lots of different kinds of software and stuff like that, so we kind of got to list it. But
plus, we're kind of lazy and disorganized, and we don't have all our paperwork lined up, so that's why with us realtors takes a while.
But Bryon makes it easy.
Bryon makes it easy. Like that.
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone that's like that.
Yeah, no, not us realtors. No, definitely. We're all organized. We got all our stuff together. So, and all business owners, right? Because we're wearing multiple hats. And so what I like about Bryon is you were super patient. And basically, we got to take a look at some tax returns and go from there. But you kind of walked us right through it, which was nice. What else?
Yes. I do what I can to help out. I know business owners are busy and, stay on top of things and, check in every now and then and see how I can help because business owners are very busy. They don't have much time to do stuff. So I help out in any way possible, but ultimately get the paperwork filled out. I send over a link to a cloud. Business owner uploads the last 3 years' tax returns. We evaluate it. Within 3 to 5 days, we come back with a credit projection report that shows the approximate amount of money that they're going to get back. It's usually pretty accurate. Let's say between a marketing company I recently helped got between 40 and 45,000.
Yes.
If they don't qualify, they pay nothing for at least looking. If they do qualify but they don't want to proceed, they don't have to. But if they want to proceed, they sign a consultation agreement. The consultation agreement, initiates our CPAs getting started on amending their returns. So we amend the returns. It takes about 5 business days, roughly. And then once they're all done, I either meet with the business owner in person or we FedEx the package like what you guys did.
Yeah.
And we, everything, as you can attest to, is all neatly organized. Each amended return, you sign here, stick it in the envelope, self-addressed.
And we all did that. Both Adrian and I did that.
Yep. And there was all nice
that
little
takes
tabs.
It was very organized.
Yep. Where to sign. Very easy.
Takes about 10 minutes. So for the return of investment on it is really, incredible. It's a lot of business owners that I've helped wish they had heard about this sooner. And the simple truth is there's 5 million words in the tax code.
Yep.
And most CPAs don't know about it. And it's not no fault of their own. They have their work cut out for them already. They're taking their
well, nobody can be an expert on the entire tax code. That's why they're CPAs specialized.
Exactly.
Yeah, every license division specialist.
And I know, Bryon,
Adrian,
our listeners are probably wondering, like, oh, do I need to change to Bryon's CPAs?
No.
How does that work?
You guys are like a specialist just coming in for the quick bada bing.
Correct.
Yep.
So their CPA is a general practitioner. They stick with that doctor, so to speak.
Yeah.
They stay with them. I'm a heart surgeon, so I'm doing something completely different. So
Yeah.
they stick with their regular CPA. They do what they do. We do something completely different than what they do.
Yeah.
So,
So,
and
then
one of the good things.
No, I was going to say one more
Go ahead.
time for the listeners because we learned this from another client. We're totally ripping this off. When is the consultation for free and when is it for a fee? Mm-hmm. So tell me one more time, when is that transition? So initial consultation's free. And then when do they got to sign on the line?
Well, once they get back the credit projection report, which shows the approximate amount of money they're going to get back.
Yep.
If they want to proceed, they sign a consultation agreement. And
Yes.
it has a lot of good stuff in there. It's a legal, it's a contract.
Yes.
And there's protections in there. And one of the things it protects is we back up our work. If there was any kind of an issue pertaining to the IRS or anything like that, the CPA defends their work. It's in writing. These CPAs have a minimum of master's degrees. They've written books. They've been doing R&D for decades. They're experts at it. And so we take great care of our clients.
Awesome.
So, Bryon, maybe you could list off some of the big companies that utilize this R&D tax credit strategy.
Yeah.
Well, I can't really name anything. With every consultation agreement we sign, there's a non-disclosure agreement. So we can't actually
not the
name
ones,
anybody.
not the companies you've worked for, but just in general, what companies are utilizing this tax strategy?
Would Google, for example, be someone
Apple,
that would?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
IBM.
I see what you're saying. Well, actually, Amazon and Netflix are two that got a lot of credits back. So those are some big ones. All the large corporations already do it.
Yes.
We represent the small to mid-sized businesses.
Exactly. That's what we was talking about.
So
these
small,
you were going that way. I
Yes.
didn't see
That's
I
okay.
didn't see which way we were going there.
So these small to mid-sized businesses now have access to these same kind of techniques and
these
strategies.
highfalutin tax strategies
Yes,
that the rich boys and girls
Correct.
have.
This is awesome.
So we get to go. You're coming in our playground. They've been this tax law and stuff's been all over there in their playground. They got the nice swing set. Now you're getting our swing sets all spiffy for our tax returns.
You're giving
it's like
access
we're over
to the
there.
little people.
Yeah,
We're over there at Punahou now. We're not just at a regular school. You know what I mean?
exactly. So you come in and visiting us over here at Farrington, Kamehameha School's lower campus, and helping us out too. So anyway, Bryon, was there any? You're in Austin, but I definitely know. We have clients that we have never met face to face, and they're on the same island because we've been doing Zooms and everything virtual. So I'm sure that business can be done with you no matter where you're at because it's the knowledge that's important.
And Bryon still has his 808 phone number.
And you still get 808 phone number.
That's right.
That's right.
I got a lot of family and friends over there. So
Yeah.
we got to stay in touch. And we're supposed to come out there, but we didn't want to be
You got COVID.
quarantined.
Yeah.
So
And I know
we're gonna.
I was talking to Bryon the other day, and I said, Bryon, you think this tax strategy is going to work for me? And you know what Bryon told me? Shoots. Because he's local.
Yeah.
Right?
Anyway. Bryon, any last words or any questions we should ask that we have not?
Nope. As usual, this has been very entertaining.
Yes.
You
And
can reach me,
educating.
even though I'm in Austin, I take appointments as late as 10 or 11 at night because I know business owners are busy. And
Yes.
And there's a 5-hour time difference. Come the end of November 1st is a 4-hour time difference. But
Yeah.
I don't care. I mean, if I got to talk to a business owner, and it really doesn't take that much time,
Yes.
honestly,
Yeah.
to kind of go over it. I can usually kind of narrow down whether someone's going to qualify or not from the phone call off the bat in a relatively short period of time. So it doesn't hurt people to at least give me a call and
Yeah.
see, let me, listen about their business and how it's structured, and I can give them an idea of, whether or not I think that we can proceed. So.
Okay.
Right.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Bryon, once again for coming back to the show and talking about this amazing tax strategy that
Yes,
could be
thank you so much.
saving thousands to our local business owners.
Yeah. Thank you for being
Yes.
on the show, Bryon. So,
Thank you. And we'll
You guys make it easy. I laugh all the time. I was
good.
nervous when I get started, and then I start talking and laughing, and I'm like, man, that was great.
We're going to help them laugh all the way to the IRS, because
That's
a lot of
right.
times when you have the word IRS, it's more like crying. So you can be laughing to the
Yes.
IRS. Yes. Thank you,
right.
Bryon.
Thank you, Bryon.
So-
All right, y'all. Aloha.
Alrighty, so you guys are like, well, what's that number, Attilio and Adrian? Well, I got the number right here. It's 808-224-6309. Again, that number is 224-6309. Call our friend Bryon Tucker. We've both gone through it.
Yes, we've both gone through it.
Yeah.
And have gotten a significant amount of money.
Significant
Yes.
amount of money,
I think it
because
was about 30 grand each.
yeah, don't get me wrong. We love paying our taxes. Well, not really love paying our taxes, but we know we have to make the taxes, but we
It's
just want to
just
make sure
part
we
of it.
pay the right amount.
That's right.
We don't want to overpay.
So the other thing is, I just want to point out,
Yeah.
if you go to our website,
Yes.
teamlally.com,
Resources.
under the resources tab,
Resources.
yes, go to the resources. You'll see about the R&D tax credits.
You know what? If anything, I would favorite that page,
Mm-hmm.
our page, and then click on the resources every once in a while, because we are going to be adding things on there. I'll tell you what, the next pages that we're going to be adding there, one's probably going to be on divorce and, unfortunately, real estate sales.
Short sales.
Short sales and
Distressed properties.
Distressed properties. That's probably going to be another resource page. And a lot of these things, I'll tell you right now, we do not willy-nilly add things to our resource page, do we? Do we
No.
like go Costco and like, oh, wow, I saw this at Costco. We should add this to the resource page. No.
No.
We research it. We take our time. We put ourselves through the process so we can understand it, so we can speak to it firsthand with our clients. And so, as we had promised, we said if we had a little bit of time, we're going to talk about, unfortunately, divorce.
Well, before we talk about that, I want
Yeah,
to
go
talk
ahead.
about helpingoahu.com.
Oh, yes. Go ahead.
Because we are still looking for a couple more families to help out. We do have one family they're actually already in escrow,
Yeah.
and she's going to be on her way to the mainland, and is very, very pleased. So, yeah, if you are...
So what's the program?
Yeah, so basically, if you are significantly financially impacted due to COVID-19 and, you need to sell your house to survive or to leave,
Yeah.
then we're going to waive the list side commissions.
Yeah. So
for-
helpingoahu.com.
Helpingoahu.com.
helpingoahu.com. Just go to that website. If you know somebody, fill out the form. We'll take a look at the information that you fill in there. We'll call you. We'll have a conversation with you to kind of vet it out.
Yep.
And so it can be either you or somebody you know that needs help.
Yep. And then the other thing that I have is that we do have some open houses since we're allowed to hold
Yes.
them. but
Actual real ones.
real ones in person.
Yep.
So we'll be doing some virtually and in person. So we've got two that are brand new to the market. One that's in Kaneohe at Mountain View Terrace.
Yes.
Little 2-bedroom,
Well, it's-
1 bath, and
everybody knows Kaneohe. It's Kahuhipa Street. Kahuhipa
Yes.
Street is the main drag. Yeah.
yeah. So it's a great little home
Yeah.
for someone who's maybe just an investor or just starting
First time
out.
home buyer.
Yep.
Yep.
So we've got that one. And then we have a home in St. Louis Heights.
St. Louis Heights.
Yes.
Got a beautiful view from that. I've been up there. It's a multi-level home that's with a beautiful view, parking, and
Been in the family a very long time.
super long time.
And they've been working on getting it cleared out
Yep.
for the last couple months. So we're excited to finally come to the market.
And where else?
And then, you know what? We have the Kahuku Villas.
Kahuku Villas.
That one's going to be open too. And we do have about half of those under contract. So only 3 left.
So if you're a humongous Red Raiders fan and when the games start up, you want to be able to walk to the game, this is where you want to live. Kahuku Villas right there. It's right next to the police and the fire station.
Yep. So you can go to our website, teamlallyNewHomes.com. Go to our open house, teamlallyopenhouse.com. You can get all of the information that you need right there.
All right, so we got about 3 minutes left, and again, heads up on this. We've been doing our due diligence. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate that we have had quite a bit of our listings that have come from divorce scenarios, because very rarely do we have one or the other party able to buy out the other party. So typically, you're selling the home. One of the other things that we talk about is the temporary financial restraining order that is put into place. It was a law put on the books about a year or two ago. And so a lot of people don't realize that. It kind of stops the process of disposing of the assets, but there's workarounds that we know of and have used successfully that we can share with you. So, if you're unfortunately in that situation, they're unfortunately, again, seeing a rise in the number of divorces because of the home sheltering. It's kind of like, wow, you've been driving me nuts, but at least if they get a break when I go to work. Now I got to see you every day. I'm like, oh, that's it. So, I'm joking about it, but it's when those relationships were kind of like on the edge that all this home sheltering has kind of pushed to the limits.
And then, again, next week we will have a professional family law attorney
speaking about the divorce aspects.
Yes.
And then we'll be backing him up and supporting him by talking about the real estate aspect. He'll be wearing his hat regarding the family law, and we'll be wearing our hat regarding the real estate.
Yes, and how we collaborate together.
Yeah. I think, last one I'll leave with you. Big times people think that in the decree, if it states that the one person is responsible for the mortgage, that does not absolve you of the right of the obligation to the mortgage company. And that's a big, huge one that people
The mortgage company does not care about the decree.
If you didn't get a divorce, because your mortgage was put in place before that took place and has nothing to do with it. So your divorce decree and your mortgage documents are completely separate. So we talk about how to avoid that huge pitfall when going through that process. So we got about 1 minute left. Housing prices are at a record high for single family homes, a lot of competition. So it's important that you have inventory. Do we have inventory? Coming soon inventory?
We do.
Yeah.
10 to 15 homes at any given time.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening, and thank you to our sponsors.
Jody Tanga and Derek Tanga of Pacific Rim Mortgage.
Bradley Mariama of Allstate Insurance.
Kenji Vendetta of Plitter Post Home Inspections.
Janice Merland of Dream House Drafting.
John Speed with Kilauea Pest Control.
Duke Kim Han of Hawaii Pacific Property Management.
And we do have Wendy Oshiro, and she helps us with reverse mortgages. We'll have more information on her on one of these shows again. If you want to get a hold of any of our sponsors, just go to teamlally.com.
We also want to give a big thank you to Leah Rodriguez, our producer here in the studio.
Chee-hoo.
Make sure to tune in next week. We'll have an awesome guest talking about something that'll change your life
forever. This is the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the guaranteed
sold program. If we can't sell your home at the agreed upon price and our time frame, we'll have it bought for cash. Be safe and aloha.
The preceding program was sponsored by Team Lally.